After years of wrangling between EU countries and the European Parliament, the heightened threat of terror attacks saw an agreement forged on Friday, expected to result in the collection and sharing of airline passenger name records known as PNR.
PNR is very important. France has been mobilized for many months already in favor of this indispensable tool against terrorism. Terrorists use intra-European flights. We need to track their return in a way to be able to prevent terrorist risks.
If the legislation passes a final vote in the European Parliament, passenger information would be available to law enforcement agencies for 6 months and stored for a further 4.5 years under strict rules. With nearly 900,000 refugees and migrants arriving in Europe so far this year, border security was already a big concern. Now a top priority in the wake of the Paris attacks carried out by extremists who managed to travel freely across the European Union. Ministers also agreed to boost the capacity of the EU police agency Europol, which will open a European counter-terrorism centre in January. But the agreement came on the heels of a referendum in Denmark that saw voters reject deeper integration on EU migration policy, which will likely see the country lose access to the resources of Europol.
In a way, it's sad for me because we need Denmark. I know how much Denmark is committed for years in the fight against terrorism. I work with them very closely, and I would have wished to see them even more involved in our collective work. But that's a decision of the people. What can I say?
Interior and Justice ministers from all 28 EU member states also discussed the future of the Schengen passport-free zone that most belong to. Temporary passport controls have been reintroduced across many European borders this year. There is concern that the scheme, which is a cornerstone of free trade across the bloc, could ultimately collapse if the EU's external borders are not better protected. Jack Barton, CCTV, Brussels.